Hello everybody. The Animpet Animesh dog, animated dog, has a lot of capabilities and functions. I'll try to cover all of them in a video. I'll try to keep them as short as possible. First of all, when we'll receive a folder. In the folder we'll have one second. Okay, we'll have or dog or calling hood and instructions. So we just rest this on the ground. I strongly recommend, even though it's a little extra cost, you buy 2 of the dogs. Use one of them for if you plan to make different AOs, or if you need to change some settings. So instead of changing settings in the note card of your main dog, by the time, if you change anything in here and if you press save, it will take up to a minute to compile. So instead of that, you just get a second dog and just create a short, maybe just for each animation or for each button if you're testing. So that would take less than 10 seconds to compile in that case. So I'll just put this away so that you can see the main one. This is my tester one, so I test things on this one first, and when everything looks fine on this one, then I'll just copy and paste the same ones onto that configuration of this dog. So before we do anything, it's very important you just click and touch and get one of still. There are 3 animations, moving animations. That's moving around, and still animations, on the spot animations, and AOs. That's also a story, like one animation follows the other one, and you can actually create or edit your own AOs in here, which I'll show you later in a minute. So if you press the still animations and get one, let's say an idle one, okay, now the idle one is above the ground, so you need to just bring it to the spot where you want it. This is going to be your main spot, so wherever you can actually move it around to wherever you like. Once you're happy with the position, and then just click touch and just go to settings and set position, okay. And then when you do set positions, and then you also need to go to touch again and go to settings and reset again. If I press this will take about a minute to recompile. So just when you receive your things, this is the first 2 things you need to do. Press set position first after you're happy with the position of it, and then press reset and wait about a minute until it compiles. Now we'll go animate. Well, inside, I'll show the inside note card first, what they mean, and then we'll play the animations one by one, and then there will be specific instructions for each animations, which I will show in here in a minute again. So the channel, you can give any channel in here. That's, in that case, I put 90. That means you can call the menu by going to your local chat and just / put 90 and menu, if you call that. And if you're nearby, at the moment I'm not nearby, you have to be as close as 10 meters to the object for the menu to appear. Right now I'm away from the object more than 10 minutes for the purpose of this video, so it doesn't come. But if you do that, if you're close enough, the menu should come up. The character radius is quite important. If your character is sinking in the ground or staying above the ground, that's the part you need to play with. So for the dog, 0.5, and that seems optimum, and the length also plays a role for the same purpose. So, but one thing, the character length has to be more than twice of the radius. So if it is 0.5, that has to be more than 1. In that case I put 1.05. It can be 1.012. Character type is these things you won't need for this one. D is for the animals. When your character, that affects the movement of your character when the character moves around. The turning speed, if your character is turning around on a corner and that is the speed of turning the corner, and the radius is the radius how large the corner is going to be. That affects the smoothness of the turning of your character when your character reaches to a turning point. And sit, these things is just needed for the main script, but you don't need this for your dog. You don't need to touch this only if your character needs to be sit. Unless you really want to sit on your character, then you need to fill these things, but I'll skip these parts for the dog. You can set the perms to public or owner. There's two things. You can write public or owner. Owner means only when you touch you can change the animations. Public means anybody can touch your dog and change the animations. And menu names are the menus. You can change this to anything. You can only put 3 menus. I put the first one as moving animations. These animations will be done. These are the animations moving around, and the still animations are the animations on the spot, and AOs are the stories the dog will play. Menu call, this part you don't need to touch anything in here. This is only unless you want your dog. This is if you have a call button, which again I'll show in a minute. Your call HUD is in here. If you attach it, add it, right, and you get just get this into a screen. You'll get a call button like that. So all these settings related to this one. All the animations are in the content of the dog, and so you can put any animation in here. Instead of walk, you can actually put run in here. And when your animation comes to you, when your dog comes to you, I set this up as sit, but you can just put an idle in here, or maybe even jumped at you type of animation. So you can change the animation in here, and the tolerance is about how far your dog can come close to you, and offset means how serious you're about it. So if you want really 1, and if you put the 1, that means you want exactly 1. But if you put little more, like 1.1, that means it can get closer, or it can get little closer or little away. That is actually related to when you move mostly. So for example, if you're running, do you want your dog to run exactly 1 meter behind you, or if you want your dog fall behind, so you can set this to higher than 1, 3, whatever suits. Again, you can try and error these things. At the moment, that seems to optimum for the animation I put in here, which is GR walk. Okay. And the next one is the menus. You will see here when you touch, you get the animations, and that's the menu 1 in here. All menu 1 animations will go as a button and button and button, and these are the animations. If you go under here, those animations, and if you go back, and then the menu 2 starts. Menu 2 starts, and these are still animations, and these are again going button and all the settings in here. And then there are AOs at the end. That's the animations menu 3, and they go all in under AO. So I'll just go through each settings quickly. Button, you don't need to change that. You don't need to do anything. The walk is the animation name. You can name this anything, and that's the animation itself in the content's name. The animation's name in the content. Looping, if you put more animation that's related to, then you can actually put comma, and then put more animations in here. Animation 2, and then how many seconds between these animations in here, and how many seconds will wait between this animation and the third animation. You can just put 3, for example, then animation 4, 3, and then you can say maybe wait 2 more seconds, and if you put the loop, that means it will play all this animation with the seconds you put in here, and then if you put it on, it will do a cycle, a looping of the same actions. And off means it will play only once, and when it reaches to the animation third, and then it will stop. Set position rotation is you actually have a default position, which in that case it is not in here, but there's also a default position rotation, not sit. And if that's not set, if you're like right now we set a default position we went on to touch, and then we went to settings and we just set position, that sets a default rotation and position. If there is no number entered in here, then it will take this position all the time. But you can actually set a default position and rotation for your for each animation separately. For example, if you want this walk animation to start in a different position, you have to for example, you want this, for this animation you want this to start from here. So in that case you just put this your dog here, get the numbers, objects numbers from here, you just enter. I'll just copy paste, okay, copy paste, and then get this one, okay, and then this one to here. So if you did that, so this animation in particularly will start exactly from here. And you can also, if you just change the rotation at the moment is just this, you can enter these rotations in here too. Or if you want to just give it a little angle, and just let's say this angle, then you can enter the same those values in here, 1.9, 355, 0.35, and 204, and 7.5, 75. So basically, actually for that animation we don't need that. This is already set, but if you want this animation to start on a different location, that's how you do it. Pathfinding on means this character will move. If it is off, the character will be on the spot, won't move. Path type, you can enter three. You have 4 options. One is random. Random means if it starts from here, it'll go randomly walk around in a randomly fashion, which I'll show in a minute again, all the animations. So actually maybe just cancel this, like I put this random, so I'll just show what I mean by that. So just cancel, not saving. So I'll just go here and I'll just say cancel this one, or don't save. And then go to touch, and then go to moving animations and walk. Walk, I set the radius to 15 or 18 meters. So if I press walk, as you can see, it is, well, it was sinking in firstly, but it's okay now. Now it's good to mention, now it is walking within an 18-meter radius around that point. So just at any point you can go and stop the animations and it will go into the first place, right? So let's just move this up, okay. And if it is syncing again, at any point you can just go and set touch and just go to settings and just set position to that location. Now it's good to mention that for any pathfinding object to move, you need a pathfinding base. So in that case, let's say these one's names, and let's give it a name that you will find easily. Let's say to be pathfinded. I just put this and I'll just copy this in here because that's how you'll search. Now, whatever is your base, just give it a name that you'll remember, okay? Now, basically pathfind base means if it is a walkable space, I mean it's walkable ground or a perim, you should see this at the bottom. I already set this up, but I'll show you how you can actually set up. Maybe just I'll show you different. Let's say we have another cube in here. Okay, just let's call this path. Well, I'll just put this, I'll say 2, okay? So I want dog to be able to walk on top of this as well. So we go to our build and we go to pet finding and we go to region objects. Okay, now we search for by name and just we put these two and then search, and then we have only one of them. We come to here, we make the obstacle, that's from movable obstacle to make sure we set it to walkable, and then apply changes. Once you do that, go to build and then pet finding and rebake the region again. Okay, now that is a walkable surface, so or dog or any pet finding object should be able to walk on top of that. So a couple of problems we receive often. You have skybox and you set whole skybox to pet finding base, but but when it is linked, the base is not the last object, so it's not the root prim. So when you actually set a skybox into a pet finding base, you're actually setting the root prim, not the base itself. So if the skybox is yours, you need to actually go find the ground, and you need to set this ground particularly into a pet finding base, or alternatively you can actually just create an invisible prim like this one. Just set this to textures to 100, and then just slim it and just put it under, and this should do the job as well. Now if we go to configuration files again, and in the other pet type is follow. If you set this to follow, you have the options of follow and custom loop. And follow means, as its name suggests, it's following you. So if you put follow here, let's say you put follow, and then in that case you need to set a key for the follow. So key to follow, you can say owner, that will follow the owner directly, or you can put any avatars or objects UUID here, and this will follow either that object or any avatars UUID in here, or just owner, that is if it is yourself. In that case we have a follow me, which is set to follow, and the key to follow is owner. So I won't save this again, just close this, don't save, and then I'll show you if you, well actually in that case I have to be in here. Let me actually just pause the video and just come to the scene myself, 2 seconds. Okay, as you can see I'm here now. If I actually touch it and then go to moving animations and follow me, so it will come and follow, and then I set to resting animation as sitting under the settings configuration. Okay, under the settings, and which is follow me, and sit in here. You can actually set to idle or any other animation in here. Once it comes to as close as 1 meter, and this animation will play in the case it is sit. So if I start following, if I go, let's go other places, then it will follow me. The reason that jumpy things you're seeing, even though I optimized it, again it is that is about the settings of how strict that you want it to get close. If you actually left, like if you increase the distance, it might actually have a smoother animation than this one. Okay, now it is it. So if you want to do a fine tuning on this one, you just go into configuration file, and which is follow me under the here. As you can see, the follow offset is 1. You can actually increase or decrease this for fine tuning. Now the others, we'll go back to here, and other you can enter random, follow me, follow, or custom. Custom, there's actually two types of custom loop and custom follow. Custom loop means, it's probably better if I show this, it'll be clearer. So basically you could just put a couple of boxes in here. I'll just go to here, and then if you could just put, you want actually while your dog is walking, instead of actually going randomly, you could actually set the points. You could just raise a couple of boxes. If let's say you want your dog to go here to here and then here, and then just turn around here, just come here, and then maybe just come to here, right? And so if you want your dog to move from here, you just enter those points. You set your configuration to custom, and then you enter each of these points. For example, in here, you just come to here, set position. They have to be between brackets, corner brackets. So just enter. I'm just gonna enter arbitrary numbers like 90 to 149.7 something, and then Z value is 168. Z value doesn't really matter, because when it's pet find, it will always sit on the pet finding base. So you put comma, you go to second point, you enter this one, okay, you open a bracket, do the same, just get the same second point, okay, and then get the third point in here, and just like that you can add as many custom points as you like, so and your dog will move along those points. So if you set this to custom loop instead of custom, actually that doesn't go here, so my apologies. So that actually goes to under pet. So you enter the pet in here, and if it is custom loop, if it is not custom loop, it will play once and will come here and will stop. But if it is custom loop, it will continue going here, and then we'll do it the same thing in a loop. So I'll just cancel these things, and make sure, because all the animations as default comes as either radius, and none of them is set to custom, because if your in-world values of position will be different than mine, so you may lose your dog if it was set to a pet. So this will you will need to do your own pet and set it to any pet you like. Follow idle animation, if only the pet type is follow. These things are related to if this pet type is set to follow. And pause and on off, it's not something you need in that case. And random radius, if it is set to radius, you can set this is meters, any meter you can actually enter in here. And the speed, if for a walk, for example, 2 is good. For a run, 4 is good. So again, you can play with that, and whichever speed when it is moving, so that affects the speed of the movement. And prop name and prop position, that's about if you have a prop in the content, and you can enter the name of the prop is like, let's say a feeding, a jumping point, or a feeding dish, etc. These type of things, or any other, maybe a toy. So you put the prop name, the prop into the content of the dog, and then the name goes to here, and then position, rotation. And in that case, actually, we didn't need anything for the dog, but you actually need a specific script that we also sell, animation engine script. That's the same script used in these things. So basically, if you're going to use these things, you also need a proper location. There are specific scripts made to define those position and rotation. The delay, again, that's not related to your dog. You don't do anything about that. But if you want to do a pro use of this, so you can actually purchase that script and do different things. And sound, you can add any sound in here. And I have only one sound in here, dog bark, and that barks when you press the dog bark in the menu, which is here. Still animations, bark. But you don't hear it at the moment, but actually there's a dog bark sound in there. And then sound volume, 1 is the maximum. You do between 0 and 1. And then sound loop, again, if you wanted barking sound continuously, or any sound in here continuously, you just put it on or off. And again, these are not related to the dog. So these are the buttons, and these are the settings. So I won't save these things. Let's go through each animations. I'll just delete these things. Okay, let's just delete these. And then press touch. And then let's go each animation. Again, the first one, this sniff is also set to random and with a radius, but you can set sniff to a custom loop in here. So I just press this one. Okay, and also one more thing, like between two animations, let's say you go to stop. Okay, if your animations get at any time wonky, you just go to reset skeleton. Okay, and then go to touch again, just go to walk. That's again set to radius, with a radius. Just go here. Well, now it is good to show now. Just if I come here and press 90 menu, and I'll have the menu right here. So and then press run. Again, this is again with a random radius. You can set this to a custom path. Let's just call the menu again, 90 menu. Okay, so let's say moving animations and follow me. Now they'll come to you and sit in there. And then go to touch, and then let's go to still animations. There's sit already, you can see in here, so I'll just skip that one. It does the exactly same thing. Sit, well, sit actually, because the default position in here, it will, and your dog will sit in here. But then again, you can set their positions for each animation or pose separately. And then go to next one, sleep. Now in that case, you will need a custom. I won't set, let's just go to here, all right, and just go to configuration note card. That's an important one. Go to find sleep. Idle, lie. Sit is in here. So in that case, for example, you need to set a custom position downwards. So you just push this down a little bit and just get these numbers from here and just create a set position, get this number from here and just enter this, put comma, enter the second one and put comma, and then this one and put comma. This doesn't come as default because the position of these will be different than yours, because these are world positions. So you don't put in here, sorry, you don't put a comma at the end. So just like that. So then when we play this, if we put these settings and we've played it, or animation, I won't save this, then it should come up in that position. Let's go to the next one, next animation, and press talk. Just to show it again, just touch, animations, talk. Touch, animations, ready. Okay, now the next animations will probably appear. Let's say scratch. Well, it didn't actually, it came out right. If it didn't, you could just go to reset skeleton, okay, and then touch again and just still animations and scratch. Okay, just let me show it from side. Touch, still animations, scratch. Okay, and then touch, still animations, byte play. Again, you can set its rotation to near you or some object. And then I did byte play, and there's also idle. Idle, as you can see, because between two animations rotation values don't change much, in that case it doesn't appear right. So if you press this, it's reset value, and then go to still animations and idle again. And again, as you can see, idle animation appears above the ground. This is not really related to animation thing, because actually, even though it is animated in the origin, somehow this is not, we couldn't fix this. It stays above. Only way of fixing this, you just go to here, find this, and enter, find config file, find this one idle in here, and well, let's see if this is idle, so that we wouldn't lose much time. You just enter a position, a custom position for that. So like you bring this down, okay, and then get these values and enter in here X, Y, Z value as you would, as I showed in a sleeping one. So don't save that one as well. So we'll go to touch, still animations, lie. Okay, and the same thing for this one as well, for this animation as well. These they don't come as default, because the world locations would be different if we set this as default, and you would probably lose your dog in the world. And then touch again, and still animations, and playful jump. Do it again. Animations, playful jump, and touch again, and let's still animations and bark. And there's a barking sound in this one as well. Now the fun part is in here. You can do a lot in here. We added just a couple of samples, play 1, play 2. So you add sequences of animations. Let me show it to you in the note card, in the configuration card. So we just open this, and this is the first one. So there is the dog. You can put any animation and as many as you like in here, as long as the script memory allows. So just any animation from here. You could create your own versions or stories, or AO in that case. So we want it to walk, and then sniff, then run. And we want 6 seconds between these two animations, and 6 seconds between these two animations, and then 6 seconds, and then we put it loop. So we want it to continuously happening. You could just set, in that case, we set it to random. So, but you could just set it to a custom path, so it would follow that path, and then come to here 3 seconds, and then turn around, go to there, run to there 5 seconds, and then sniff for about 3 seconds, and then you could actually set a custom path in here, as I showed earlier, which is in here. Instead of random, you say custom or custom loop, and then you enter the path locations in here between the brackets, and then comma, next one, just like that. You put the XYZ locations, XYZ, comma, and the next one X2, Y2, and Z2. So, but in that case, in this case, we just made it random. So I'll just close this one. I'll show you how it works, and then don't save, and just let's go play one. Now, as you can see, randomly for 6 seconds, it'll go like that, and then start sniffing for about 6 seconds too, and then start running for 6 seconds, and then because we put the loop, the same thing will continue forever. Okay, now in second one we did a different thing. We made a sequence of still animations, so on the spot. Just let's make it reset skeleton. So okay, now Tolkien, wait a little more, will scratch himself, and then we'll sit for a while, and then because it is loop again, or it should be, yep, we'll start again. We'll talk, just idle, and talking, barking, idle, and then a little bit scratching, and then we'll wait a little while, we'll get bored and sit again. And the great part of that, there are 15 animations in here, and you could create literally endless versions of animations. One goes after another one. You could make it look right, left, lie, and then sleep, all this. Even stretch, rise, we didn't use these things because you could only put in the menu, you can put only 11 animations, so we didn't use some of them. You could just add these ones in there too. We didn't use the stretch or stretch rise, these things. Okay, there are actually more animations than shown on the menu. Okay, and that wraps up. The last one I want to show is the call button for your dog, and that's that comes in your inventory. Let me show it to you. That's in here. You just add this to here. Once you do that, let's say you're far from here. If you don't see, this is actually region-wide call, so you could be anywhere in the region, and then you just press the call button. And then, of course, in that case, there are several Animesh objects belong to me. So that's the F1, which is number 2. I'll just call 2. As you can see now, the dog will come to me. The reason is now that can happen again, that because it went away. The reason is that, again, this is about the settings of how far, how close you want your object to be, to how close you want your dog to be to you. So if that happens, like going, sometimes off the screen, so you just play with the under menu call in here, follow tolerance. You can play this up and down if it gets wonky. Sometimes just it fixes itself, as in this case, as you can see. Now it's just following. Once you call, it starts following you. Or you can change animation again, just touch it and play any animation in here. Just set it to walk around, sniff around. And if it gets stuck, again, it's about there's 18 meters radius. You can reduce the radius, or you can, if sometimes it stuck and it doesn't it is not able to save itself, so you just need to manually actually right click and edit. And lastly, I want to say you can't directly touch two Animesh objects, and so you need to right click and touch them or just call them through a menu.